right, guys, welcome to this week's show of the Power of Ownership. I got a special guest in, and I got Barry B, who's a regular panelist. So we're gonna all introduce ourselves. Let's go ahead and get started first. I'm gonna wait till we're gonna do the introduction slow, so let some people get in here. But I'm gonna go ahead and introduce myself because people know me. But in case you don't, my name is Brandon B. Dixon, NMLS 1541210. It's at Billionaire Loan, also on all social media. Please go ahead and subscribe. Don't forget to hit the like button. Also, we'll read all the comments here live on the air. So please comment, ask questions, and we're answering right here on the air. Also, www.applywithb.com. That's if you want to apply for a mortgage or if you want to book me for a consultation. My phone number, 832-775-8357. You can call me 24/7. As long as it's about mortgages, I will answer. www.brandonbdixon.com. If you want to lease or list, don't forget I'm a real estate agent as well. Actually, I just joined Axon yesterday. So I'm with Axon. Yeah, so I'm with Axon as well. So congratulations to me on that. Finally making that leap. Last but not least, don't forget I'm in the Frenchie game as well. WeLoveFrenchies.com is launching 2026. Also, if y'all stay with us, I got a special announcement at the end of the show. So be on the lookout for that. So please stay with us. Barry B, I got you queued up. And then we're going to go to our guest, David Youngs. Barry B.
All right. How's everyone doing? This is Barry B with homesbybarryb.com. Oops. Am I still on okay, good, I was on mute. This is Barry B with homesbybarryb.com. If you look at the buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the upcoming year, these last 2 weeks are in right. In 2026. You can give me a call. You can give me a text. You can Google me, pound Homes by Barry B. I'm on all platforms. If you do that pound Homes by Barry B, you'll get a hold of me, 832-786-1270. Call, text, message me on social media. I'm all over there.
Gotcha. And we got a guest that I'm hoping we'll see how it works out. I'm hoping to become a regular panelist. My man David Youngs. I'll let him introduce himself and after you introduce yourself, Dave, I want give us a quick 60-second bio of you. Let us get to know you. Let my audience get to know you.
Sure. Sounds good. Yeah. Okay. I got to remember what order you put everything in here. So yeah, David Youngs, licensed since 2005. So I got one of those OG NMLS numbers there. Want to go to the next one? Yeah, perfect. That's my handle on several of my platforms. If you want to look me up on Instagram, TikTok, things like that. Appreciate Brandon having me on the show because I'm working on trying to build that audience. Next, this is my website. A lot of cool things on here. You have access to free live calculators, ebooks you can download, access to a lot of cool things, including reaching out to me and learning more about me and my family. So please check that out. Was that the last one? There's one more. And if you did want to actually start an application process, this is where you would go. Though my preference is not to go here first. I'd always like to have a conversation first if possible. And then we'll have you apply after we talk that through. But if you want to go there, that's how you reach me there too. So
yeah, so let me put that back up. I had to they had an automatic timer on there for 10 seconds. So I had to put that off. So
I love it. I love it.
With DavidYoungs.com if you want to get a hold of him. Now, David, let's get into a little bit of background here.
Perfect. I did throw one other thing in the chat. If anybody wants to go there, it's if you go to it's a weird site, dot cards. I forgot to give this to you, Brandon. dot.cards/David Youngs. You can actually go download.
You put it in the private chat. Let me put it in the public chat here.
Thank you. You can actually go download all of my contact info and get to all of my social media links in one place. Kind of solves the technical glitch we were having there at the beginning, trying to link all these up at the beginning.
Sure. So if you look at the public chat here, y'all want to click on that, y'all could go straight to his contact information and download it straight to your phone.
Perfect. Gotta love technology. How cool that is. So
right. Yeah. So let's go ahead and get a little bit of backstory, and before we get started here.
Yeah. So Brandon, you and I were on the same team now. Officially here over at Nexa Mortgage, now rebranded Nexa Lending. So between you and I like the mortgage name better. But either way, yep, Nexus is the name brand. And Barry, nice to meet you for the first time. Sounds like you're in real estate, so you can give a little. You can make our jobs a little more fun.
Okay.
Talking about the pretty houses, not just the money side of stuff.
And y'all can make my job easier.
That's true. I wish every realtor knew that. So anyway, I'll give you my quick background as quick as I can in 20 years. So my wife and I got recruited into financial advising actually in 2005, but with the unique perspective of being able to offer mortgage loans. So understanding and learning how mortgage lending ties into all other aspects of real estate, retirement planning, insurance planning, tax strategy, all these other factors. And then when the recession hit and everything changed, I thought, well, I know insurance, I know investments, I know mortgages. Where do I want to go? Where do I want to stay? And I decided, mortgages is probably where I can make the most impact. I knew it the best, and I wanted to stay in that space. So I worked very hard, several years. Obviously, I have a younger face as it is. So imagine I'm 39 now. So when I was 19 years old is when I started. So imagine when you're 19 years old and you meet with a family, there's only one question they ever ask you every single time. How old are you? And no one would buy with me or do anything with me. So it took me a while to build a client base. So years of working, trying to build it. Ended up moving eventually to a brokerage here in Minnesota. Been in this state my whole life, grew up in Minnesota. Bounced around to a couple different companies. I was the assistant vice president with a brokerage for 12 years. My wife was Ashley was our compliance officer. Helped with our marketing, and she was my loan processor. I miss her dearly. She no longer is working as my processor, but she was incredible. And then fast forward, moved around a couple times, tried retail for a short period, just to try it, and realized I hate it, and I definitely need to stay in the broker world where I'm good at. Mm-hmm. And then I already knew about Nexa years ago, but I'm an idiot for not coming here sooner because I didn't realize how good it actually had gotten. And I've been here now about a year and a half, helped support the team, and it's been an incredible journey. And I'm grateful I'm here and hope to never leave. So now just trying to figure out, with the insane amount of stuff we have access to, what they're doing to empower us, how can we give back to families? How can we help them? And this is one of those ways, is just education, resources, and connecting people, right?
Gotcha.
That's
definitely. It sounds like an interesting journey, man. So I hope, like I said, we could help you build your brand, and that's what the goal is, to build the brand and look forward in with this lending industry has to offer. And I want to be one of the leaders of the new trends and be ahead of the actual curve instead of behind the trend. So. And I think that's what we're going to do here with the Power of Ownership podcast, and how we're going to take it. And we're going to try to take it to the next level in 2026. Let's go ahead and get to the first clip, because it's a good segue to what we were talking about as far as going forward in the industry. Let's go with the first clip, and from there we're going to react to it, and then I'm going to open it up, and then we'll go from there. So let's go with this first clip, and let's see what we got.
Just repealed the policy requiring mandatory membership to join the multiple listing service. This is the biggest crack we've ever seen in the traditional real estate industry and its collapse. For years, the MLS was the golden gate and NAR was the gatekeeper. If you wanted access, you paid, you joined, you complied. My friends, that era is officially dead. When NAR says you no longer need national membership to join the multiple listing service, really saying is we admit that we no longer control the real estate industry like we once did. The collapse is not coming. It is already here. And they're doing that in order to save themselves from any more antitrust violations and lawsuits. The traditional real estate industry was built based on gatekeeping. Join the board, pay the fees, play by the rules, earn your stripes into the club. But the entire structure is crumbling, because the power has shifted, not to brokers, not to boards, but to attention. 2025, the MLS is not your value. NAR is not your value. Your brokerage is not your value. Your brand is your value. Because let's be really honest, your clients do not choose you based on your memberships. They don't choose you based on your designations. They choose you based on your voice, your authority, your expertise, and your presence. The MLS is now a tool, not leverage. This shifts power back to the local levels and letting them decide based on the agents in that area what they will require to join the multiple listing service. This shift exposes the truth. The agents that survive the collapse of the traditional era will be agents that build brands, create content, and build communities that buyers, sellers, and agents can trust. This is what's called agent infopreneurship. Your expertise is worth more as content than it is as labor. So you take what you know and you turn it into content. By doing it correctly, you attract attention, you build influence, you create products, and ultimately you drive recurring, renewable, and residual revenue to your business. And you can build a business that the MLS could never give you. NAR's power is fading. Brokerages are losing leverage. The old model is collapsing in real time. Only thing left standing will be agents with influence. Agent, the guy, the gal with a personal brand. The agent that becomes the platform and partners with other platforms, not rely on them. Make sure to follow me for more value.
It's a good video.
Yeah.
Interesting take.
That's
Right.
well, we saw it was going down once they got that judgment a couple of years ago. It was headed for the decline. I mean, I've been receiving emails about MLS's systems that you can join. Now, the one thing he talks about, as an agent, you don't have to be in NAR, HAR, and TAR. But if you're at a brokerage, and that brokerage it might require you to be in it. And so it's not a NAR requirement, it's going to be your brokerage requiring it. So if your brokerage, whoever it is, Remax or ABC Realty or John Jay, they'll tell you, hey, you need to be a member of NAR or HAR. Now you can be your own broker, and then you don't have to do that. But I haven't seen the actual system and how it looks, but like you said, that's a tool, because you don't have to be in it. But if I can't get access to these 10,000 homes that's on the market, how much power do I really have?
Right.
Yeah, I like I actually like the fact, honestly, that they're going to open this up to more people. So because the sad reality is right now, if anybody wants to buy a house, we all know what they do. They go on a Google search and they start pulling up whatever house they think they're finding on whatever site. And they may not realize that these are not even live houses. This isn't real data. This doesn't even exist. So, a lot of people are basing their entire financial strategy, their planning and everything around properties that may not even exist, because they didn't even know that those aren't live deals.
Willow.
So, yeah, I like actually that they're giving access to more people. But on the other side of this, I will say that when there's no advocacy for the industry going on, and there's not a lot of support for regulation and the barrier of entry being held to a certain level and standard, it does open the door to a lot of challenges. We saw this in the mortgage and real estate industry leading up to the recession in 2008, where when I got licensed, it was watch a video and pay $20. That was it. That was a mortgage license. So that's why everybody and their brother and their mom and their sister and their aunt and their uncle, everybody got into mortgage and real estate because it was so easy. And that's part of what caused the challenge, is lack of education, no barrier of entry, no regulation. So I think there's a balance here of there's some restrictions and regulation that should be there, but I do like giving access to the MLS to more people personally, if I'm reading between the lines on that video of what he was explaining.
Well, you most definitely need that regulation, because you're going to have a lot of, they're starting right now, a lot of the scammers and all stuff like that. If you don't have that regulation, you're definitely going to have to have something in there.
Gotcha. I think I took the video a little bit different. I think what he was saying, as far as it's going to let the consumer decide. I think he's saying showing your expertise with content and with the internet is going to let the actual consumer decide who they wants to do business with. So he said, I liked what he said. He coined a phrase. He said, like an entrepreneur or something like that. An entertainer. It was like an entertainer /preneur. He was saying. But I like what he's saying as far as that. I think that's where it's going. David and I talked offline about this. Is that I think the future is going to be the influencers, the people with the most motion, most eyeballs, and the biggest brand are going to win. I think what happens is I totally agree with him. I think nobody chooses to go with you based on, hey, I'm a horror member. I'm with Keller Williams. I think they follow.
Most people don't even know what horror is.
Most people don't. Most people don't. They get with these teams and stuff like that, and if it's not for the support, they don't choose you based on the team name. They choose you based on, like you said, your voice, your personality, your level of expertise. So I think with streaming and I think with content creation, it highlights that, and it gives the customer a chance to, and the shop like they really shop. They, like you said, they're going to Google it first.
Yep.
And then they're going to Google the person that is on the listing. They're gonna, if they know you, they're gonna follow you first, and then if they're in the market, just like an attorney, just like anything else, just like a painter, just like a whatever, they're gonna go from who they know and who they feel comfortable with, and I think that's the future. And I want to skew it just a little bit, one more tick. I think the officer part of our job is long gone. And I want to kind of address what you said earlier. You said about the level of expertise. I think with AI integration, the amateur kind of gives us equals the playing field a little bit. Not totally, but it does give them a huge leg up, as opposed to back in the days when you just got the video and the $20. When either you knew it or you didn't. Now with AI, there's somebody that could come in and then use those tools and kind of fake it and kind of look like they know what they're talking about, because it's the officer part is gone. It's so easy to product place and price. In
fact, I think even the younger generation, like they're growing up with all this content. Like they know. Like here, I'm struggling trying to figure out, linking up certain social media profile items. But young kids can come on. They'll walk in. They know exactly how to create fire in the background, and they're flying in the sky and whatever, showing that house, because they already got all the effects. They got all the software. Like they know what they're doing, even if they've never sold a single house, done a single loan, have a clue what they're doing. But they're good at that part, and that's why they're already seeing success.
But so here's going to be the problem with that. Yeah, they can do all that, but when it's down to okay, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, they want house 123 Main Street. Now it's time to do the paperwork on it. Yeah, that's going to be a problem.
But now you can hire a transaction coordinator to do all you do. So I think again, it's skewing it to where it's going to be who has the
eventually, but like right now, no.
Well, action is I don't have to touch any paperwork if I don't want to. I can hire a transaction coordinator for $285, or was it $295 or $285, something to that effect.
$295. Yep, that's
$295, and they can do all my paperwork for me. It's about my upline guy who got me recruited me to Nexon coins this phrase. He says it all the time. We are lead generators.
Yep,
that is what we are. We generate leads.
Larry, we both that's what Gary Keller, by the way. So I get to hear all that too. You're absolutely right.
Right. So
Gary Keller preach.
Right.
I wanted to. Can I just comment too, Brandon?
Right.
You mentioned the word officer is gone. Funny enough, I personally have never ever liked that phrase LO.
Right.
I will not use it in my own marketing. I hate it with a passion, because we are not loan officers. It's like we're not controlling policing stuff. The goal here is, I'm an advisor, I'm a mortgage advisor or a loan consultant or whatever you want to call me, but it's an education role. It's teaching, it's training, it's helping. And then even with the team, I don't think most people realize that, in a mortgage transaction or a real estate transaction, there's like 30, 40 people behind the scenes, all that have to do their jobs to make this thing work through closing, that we are technically as loan officers overseeing. But the thing is, we're not telling them what to do. They know what to do. It's just advising through it.
More managing them.
Yeah, it's not even managing. It's just, hey, client, like, here's the expectations, here's how this works, and here's why this is happening, just so they don't have that emotional pain, of like, well, what's going on? Like, well, I found this house on Zillow and I'm so sad because it's not there anymore. And it's like, well, but we educate families on how this works. And it's like, hey, did you know that you actually need MLS access to see this? That you want to get with a live licensed realtor that can get you access to this stuff, or now wherever apparently you're going to get access to it. So, but I'm just saying, I hate the word loan officer, drives me nuts. So
I think that part of our job is gone. I think it is. There's no due with the technology has eroded that title. Yes. You know, the technology's there where there's no officer anymore. What we need to do is get the clients in, and if we could put them in the system, like you said, the system, everybody knows what to do, and everybody, and it's actually computers, AI, should I say, are eroding a lot of jobs as well. So a lot of the stuff, I'm surprised they don't have AI underwriters. You know,
well, they sort of
have automated underwriting.
It's automated underwriting, but I'm talking about for final. There's still humans that give the final check. I'm surprised that they had integrated that.
Crazy thing is, there are some lender partners that we have that many people may not realize that we can, like, with the technology, the way it's evolving, there's some lenders out there, you can upload documentation and it'll read it for you. It'll calculate everything for you and figure it out without you even looking at it. And it's not even that far away before I think this starts to become industry standard practice. Like, give it just a few more months. It's going to be kind of like, you better keep up or you're going to be out of business as a lender if you don't have this technology being offered to assist with this process flow.
So you see my point. So somebody coming in I can almost have the same experience, not experience, the same know-how as somebody who's been in 20 years because of the level of technology.
Yep.
So it kind of levels the playing field a little bit. So again, what's going to differentiate the big dogs from the small pups is going to be the amount of clientele, amount of eyeballs you have. How many people can I bring into the system? It's not going to be the system itself anymore because, like you just said, everybody's going to be standard practice to do this. So I can't say, well, I can get you done in this. Everybody's going to be able to get you done in this. How many eyeballs am I going to have on me that I could capture as many fish and bring them down my funnel? And I think that doing that is by building brands, and I think social media is the way to do that.
One other thing I'll add to that, I think, is connections to the right people, because like the longer you're in it, the more people like you know ourselves, right? Like you get to know each other. You have better people, more people that you can build around you to get these families to the right places. And I think simultaneously too, even if there's AI integration technology there, part of what this helps with is the stress point. A lot of these families, they'll go through the process. Maybe that lender has great technology, great systems, great process flow, all of that, and the person's really experienced. But if they don't understand how to explain or educate families on how this whole thing works very well, there's going to be a lot of stress for that family all the way through, trying to understand what's going on because the person doing it doesn't fully understand it. So the explanations or the education has that gap. And now you and the professional are using Google as your source of information. And this is just only going to serve to create more problems.
There's still going to be a personal thing to it.
All right, for now.
Because,
look at my mentor. My mentor.
I've had clients that text me and ask me questions, and this, and you can tell it in their voice that something's. Well, I don't know about this, and okay, you can't throw that in a computer and everything, and I've had ones that changed their mind. You talking to them on the phone, and you can just tell, oh, here it come.
This is the thing. My mentor always used to say, don't look at what's happening now. Look at 10 years from now.
Oh, yeah.
With the way AI is going, I can have a full-blown conversation with ChatGPT. In fact, that's what I do for fun sometimes. So, and you could do diction. It could talk to you. You could talk back. You could choose the voice and stuff like that. So
I've done it too. I'm getting better and better every day, and it keeps learning more. It's good.
What if, and I've been on software because I'm trying to improve my phone voice, and I'm trying to improve my diction. Because sometimes when I talk, like you pointed out, David, if I talk fast, sometimes I get excited to talk fast. It all goes together sometimes. So I'm trying to improve that. So I'm on a software now that helps you improve your phone voice.
That's cool.
So it talks to you as if it was a customer, and it's like really talking to a person.
Really?
I did that with ChatGPT myself. I actually back and forth with it for a while to have it learn my presenting speaking words per minute.
Right.
Because
Really?
I kept telling it, I'm like, write me this 10-minute part or discourse or whatever. Like, help me with this. And then it would write it and it would be totally off every single time on timing. And I'm like, why is this off every time? So then I did that and now it's spot on because it had to learn exactly how many words per minute I average and when to tell me and prompt me to slow down and speed up and highlight points. And so it's learning with me. Like,
It's coming. It's technology is coming where they're they're not going to need us as far as far as I think, the future is going to be. I think right now we're going, like he said, the great change. They're merging the two together. Who'd have thought, like 10 years ago, real estate loan officer would have been the thing to do?
Yeah.
So now it's merging because what happens is instead of introducing the customer to two different people, well, here's the loan officer, get approved. I am the loan officer. So I don't have to, if you like me, I take you to the finish line.
Yep. Or the mortgage advisor, not the loan officer.
Right. Or I'm the I'm the mortgage guy. So now I don't have to refer out, so the technology before it was both with full-time jobs. So you had no time. Now it's like I could 15 minutes, I could DU you and I could have you already pre-qualified. Doesn't take that long.
Yep.
So
it's easier to merge the two. Yeah.
Correct. So what about 10 years from now? How would that look?
Sidebar, just out of curiosity, because I haven't seen all your streaming content. Have you done any videos yet on commentary on people like showing the capabilities of some of this AI and like where it is headed and trying to maybe break it too until it shuts down on you and that kind of stuff?
Not just AI, but we're not in our industry, but I've tickled this particular topic a couple of times. But my situation, my stance is the same. I think we have to look forward. I think, again, and that's why I'm trying to revamp the stream. And I think becoming a personality, and then, like the video said, any product or whatever, once the eyeballs on me, I could pitch anything. Mm-hmm. And I already have the following built in.
Exactly. I was just curious because it's really cool to watch that stuff.
I know I haven't done anything, but I've used AI to get information about leads and things like that and new strategies, but not just like maybe on a video or something like that now.
Right.
It's becoming less about having the AI as it is becoming an artist in how you prompt it. You have to give it. You have to ask the question in the right way, say it in the right format framework, and then once it gives you something, know how to challenge it back. Like there's an art to this. It really is.
I found that out, because I would ask a question and then it would bring me something. I'm like, that's not really what so I kind of tweak what I said, and then it comes again. I was like, nah, not neither. And I do it again and like, okay, that's kind of what I was looking for. And then it'll say, okay, well, now I did this. Do you want me to do A, B, C, or D? Push A, B, or C. Then you do that, then okay. And you can, but like you said, it's learning. So and that's what it's doing. It's learning you.
Yep. For anyone watching too, I wanted to just suggest too, if I'd like to think I'm getting proficient-ish at it. Mm-hmm. I would not say I'm an expert, but I bet there's people they're watching this that are like, dude, you guys gotta get on this train. Like there's this whole other software over here you haven't learned about. There's this cool new prompt you should try out. Like if there is, I would say like throw it in the comments. Like we'd love to hear your feedback.
I know, right?
I bet. Help me help more families.
Help me help you.
I'm gonna say this, and then I'm gonna go to the next clip. Is that you got to be a master of describing exactly what you wanted to tell you, so and what you wanted to do. So it's the description. Is what and you got to be real specific.
Yeah, but and what I found is sometimes when I'm thinking about it, I can't
describe it.
I can't describe it like I want. Right. So I put in what I'm thinking, and then it seems like it's okay. It's learning, okay, and then it asks questions like, yeah, that's what I meant to say, and then like
it'll learn you. Just put it down.
Barry, even better. just hit the little microphone button
You just talk.
and then just talk into it,
Oh, okay.
and then it'll start learning your speaking style, learning
Right.
who is Barry really as a person, and get deep down. Yeah.
Okay,
and then,
now
and then
how
it'll know how to start feeding you back the content that you like. Because if you keep telling it no, eventually it's gonna be like, okay, he doesn't want any of this stuff. Barry wants this stuff, and then now it'll explain it that way.
Okay.
And I'm surprised our biggest partner, UWM, hadn't found some kind of way to integrate this already. You know, so
United Wholesale Mortgage, UWM, they actually do have chat UWM already as a feature, where it's a variation, kind of what we're talking about, like taking hybrid guidelines and all that. It's like they're on the cutting edge of this, and it's really cool that they're giving this back to us as experts, so we can go out and help more families that way too. I do appreciate having that. It's really nice.
Right, Ishby is a winner, man. Before we go to the next vid, go ahead and like the video, please. That helps us out to get it in the algorithm. Please go ahead and ask us any questions that you might have about mortgages, about real estate. Also, any comments or anything like that, we'll read them live. So go ahead, like the video, comment, and subscribe as well. That'll help us out. Let's go to this next one real quick. I do have about 3 or 4, so I don't want to get and as you can see, 3 hours ago, real quick, there's been 30 minutes on one video.
Yeah. I'm getting it better with you, Brandon. I'm understanding it. Thanks for putting these together too.
Gotcha. All right, let's go to the next one.
Who is homeownership for? Because the more I hear about it, the more it's not it. I just got done with a conversation with a family member who mentioned that their house went up in value, which is not a good thing, because now their taxes on their home is equating to $833 a month. Keep in mind, this family member has paid off their home. They have done their due diligence. They have worked their butt off. Their mortgage is gone. They don't have a mortgage. And they are still owing the government $833 a month. Or guess what? The government can take their home. So home ownership to me is just sounding like fancy rent, because you're indefinitely paying literally rent, $833 a month, just to keep your property. That does not make me want to work hard to buy a home. That sounds like a literal scam. I'd rather give my money to a landlord and have a lot less headaches than give my money to the government for the same reason.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize that when you actually go and buy a home that you're living in, your first landlord is the bank. You think that you've just got out of working for a landlord. No, the first landlord is the bank, and your second landlord is the government, and the government never goes away. First landlord, you might get rid of him in anywhere between 15 and 30 years. That's the bank. Second landlord never, ever, ever goes away. And as property value goes up, you got to be, like she said, you got to pay those fees, man.
Serious question. Who is homeownership?
All right, so I'll open it up to the panel. Do y'all want me to go first on that one?
You went last. You should go first, man.
All right, so on that particular one, I think it's a pessimistic point of view. I think you're looking at it wrong. You have to look at it through this lens. The difference between home ownership and as opposed to renting is the leverage of the equity. That's the difference. When you renting, that you have zero equity in that property. Now you do have certain freedoms, but is it really freedoms? Because you still have restrictions. You can't do everything that you want to do if you're renting a property. And the application process is just as tedious as it is to own a home. So that it's not as easy as you think. Secondly, if I spend, and I talked to my daughter about this yesterday or the day before, if you add it up, she's renting a 1-bedroom for $1,800 apartment. Say, let's add this up, for the next 2-3 years. It's 50, 60K, right? That money is gone. As opposed to if you purchase a house, that's at least going to be equity, that you could possibly carry over to another house. And it's going to keep increasing in value, as opposed to when you're renting, all you're doing is making that landlord rich. Now, is it a down or negative aspect that, hey, in this particular country, the property taxes are in perpetuity? Yes, that's partially true. However, once you get to a certain age, they're reduced. You know, so once you get to 65, they're reduced on your homestead. And like I said, there's ways to reduce your taxes as well, but it is in perpetuity, yes. But as opposed to renting, where you have no skin in the game whatsoever, you know. So if I have a house paid off, $250,000 house, that's $250,000 of something that's valuable. You know, so that's my lens on it. So you got to look at the equity and the money aspect of it, as opposed to the small lens. Hey, I got to pay. Yes, you got to pay, but however, I have something that's appreciating in value.
Right.
I'll go ahead and yield the floor.
Very,
I was gonna say I agree. You know, that is a downside. You'll be paying forever. I mean, and like you say, in perpetuity. But you got the equity. So if you need, you know, kids going to college, or you want to start a business or something like that, you can go into that equity out of your home and use that money. You wouldn't be able to do that if you were renting an apartment or renting a house for 15 years. You know, that. You know,
also taxes as well. The depreciation on the taxes as well. People don't realize.
I mean, even you know, you still gotta ask that owner if you want to paint your wall or anything, or you know. So
lack of control.
I get, you know, but I think with everything, it's good. You got your plus and your minus, and so you need to decide if that plus is worth the minus. You know?
I think too. Just my take on it. If in some markets, like there are other videos out there that are circulating. I've seen now where they're like, no, renting is better. Let's walk through the math. There are a very select few markets and circumstances where renting does actually make sense. It is possible, but in 90, I don't want to even throw out a stat on that one. In most cases, it's not going to make sense. Like I just for fun, I asked an AI about rent increases, and it says right here, just in general, over the last 10 years, rent has increased roughly 5.4% over the last 10-year period, 2015 to 2025, in the CPI data for rent, Consumer Price Index of tracking rental. So 5.4% every year, your rent's going to go up, like no matter what. And like you said already, Brandon, like and Barry, like you're not going to get anything from it. But there's 3 things you do get with homeowners, or 4 things actually with homeownership. One, you get control, to your point, Barry. Like you can paint the walls, you can do that stuff. So you get that. You can make it your own. It's yours as long as you want it. You get asset increasing over time of, on average, 3 to 5% per year. So rent's going up, but the value of your property is going up too. So they're kind of doing a sideways move here. So that's going up too. In addition, third point, you have the interest, tax, possibly insurance, other maintenance, deductions on your taxes as well. And the fourth point is you're building principal buy down equity, the principal buy down of your home. Part of your payments going towards money you're paying off. Eventually, if you pay it long enough, you will no longer owe that money any interest period to the lender. You actually have the ability to own this home free and clear. You own it. It's yours. So one day you can have that payment be 0 for the mortgage principal and interest payment. You don't know it anymore. So the fact that you have all those other benefits, and I mean, I don't know how many families, like myself included, how many families that you buy a house, and then if you do it the right way, with the right advisor, the right strategy, the right structure, taxes and timing, you do this right, like you can walk away with tens of thousands of dollars, sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars out of that property, and use that to further perpetuate other investment strategies, which is why almost every billionaire in the industry, most of their money is actually because of real estate, not whatever profession they actually are in. It's because of real estate. So like, I understand the thought process behind, like, yeah, there's negatives to it. Yeah. It's pick your poison, right? They're both poison, but it's like, well, this one will kill you a lot slower, and you might have a shot of living with this one you don't. So I don't know. That's my take.
Nothing here is perfect.
Yeah.
You know,
and nothing's free.
Nothing's free. So yes, there are there are a couple of setbacks. However, the juice has to be worth the squeeze. What advantage is there by throwing money away? I get the Grant Cardone as far, but what Grant Cardone is
That's what I was just getting ready to say.
Yeah, Grant Cardone, not telling you is that the company probably owns the actual house and he's renting it from the company, so he's getting double tax implications. So that's what he's probably talking about. He's not talking about the average Joe that owns one house and that's their primary residence, or he's not talking about this ultra luxury home that might be cheap.
I think he is. I think he is talking about the average person when he talks
about. Talking about the average person that should rent. I don't know about it. I think he's talking about people in this category. That could make sense if you got a $14 million home and you don't plan on staying there for more than a year. Yeah, it might make sense to rent, and then you use it as a tax write-off. You shoot some content and hey, this is a marketing thing, as opposed to just the living quarters, and then you can write that off or put your home office and stuff like that. Use it as a tax write-off.
Right.
I can do that, but the average Joe that's the 9-to-5er or W-2, it makes total sense to own as opposed to rent.
I want to support you in that point of time in that house makes a difference too. If you legit are going to live there for 6 months to a year tops, and you're going to move again, maybe it makes sense, but I'm going to bet money on the fact that it probably doesn't. You're probably better off renting in that one circumstance, just the way it works out. But again, that's the thing, is every market's different. Like some markets right now are skyrocketing in prices. Others are drastically declining. Some are completely stagnant. Like we are seeing a very mixed bag across the country. A lot of this has to do with different laws being passed, combined with the disasters we're seeing, the fires in California, tornadoes, hurricanes, like these disasters also throw a wrench in things too, which increase homeowners insurance costs. Wipe out whole neighborhoods, dropping values substantially for everybody in that whole area, maybe even the state. So there's a lot of one-offs, right?
Well, the gist of everything that we're saying is that get with a professional, one of us, a shameless plug that can walk you through the process and help you make the best decisions. Again,
especially someone that knows your local market.
Correct. So let's go ahead and get to the next one because I got about 3 more. So let's go ahead and run this next one.
Want to happen to you. The owner of this townhouse bought it for $320,000 a couple of years ago. Now they have it on the market for sale at $280,000. $40,000 loss on principal. After you include realtor fees and closing costs, it's going to be about a $60,000 to $70,000 loss. We're seeing this happen all across the South in the U.S. right now. There's a housing bust that's starting, and it's leading to something called negative equity. According to CNBC, homeowner equity just dropped over the last year due to declining home prices. It dropped 2.1% year over year, especially in markets like Miami and Houston. The values are now dropping below the mortgage amounts, and some people are being foreclosed on. This could mean that 2026 is actually going to be your time to buy in the housing market if you've been waiting. If you're in a state like Florida, Tennessee, Texas, Arizona, Colorado, or Nevada, sellers are now starting to cut the price and even losing money on homes. The question is, how much are prices going to drop in your zip code, or are they going to keep going up next year? To find out, go to reventure.app.
They always got to do the plugs at the end there.
Well, we're doing the same thing, right? So
right. You can't knock it. Oh, that's what I forgot to do. I need to start naming some of these content creators and giving them their flowers. So that
be sure to do that. Make sure they get the credit because we appreciate their doing this for us.
Right. And this was from Reventure Data, and actually Reventure Data has 234,000 followers, so he has a pretty big following there. So good content. I'll go ahead first on this as well. I mean, occasionally you see this. I don't think it's a bigger trend as he's saying. You gotta look at what he's a townhouse. I think a lot of people overpaid. Overpaid a few years ago. And a lot of people overpaid.
A lot of people
overpaid. I think it's too soon. I think it will even out if he holds on to it. But I think it's the time right now, the timing that you're selling the house is where you're losing money. I think if he waits until next year or even the year after, I think he will even out. Now, if you overpay, you're going to be flat for the first 5 years. It's just the way it is. And then I think everything with the pandemic, hyperinflation, the market went crazy. I think this is some of the byproducts that you're going to see. Does it happen everywhere? No. But I do think in some certain circumstances that, yeah, a lot of people overpaid, and a lot of these appraisers were giving, a lot of appraisers were just giving out these crazy appraisals and making money, and they just didn't, I think it was a little bit of 2008 all over again, but it is.
No, I think a lot of them appraisals, I don't think the appraisals was going up because they had it written in that if the price of the home didn't appraise, you were gonna have to come out of your pocket.
Right.
So
yeah, some of them was bypassing appraisal.
Yeah, so there's a lot of people that's in homes that it wasn't appraised for that much. They just wanted it so bad that they paid that extra money.
Yep. I've seen that happen too, where someone might be like, nope, it doesn't matter. Like, this is the house. We want our family here. It's in this school district, whatever it is. And they're just like, yeah, if it's 50,000 over the current value, like, this is our forever home. We don't care. We know the market will shift. So they're kind of banking on that. Mm-hmm. Most people that have done that, it's actually paid off for them in the long run. Because you compare them to those that didn't buy, and their valuations of zero because they're still renting. Right. So, like, yeah, it might take you a little bit to make it back, but eventually you start making it back. Mm-hmm. So, plus, again, townhome condos, those are a little tougher, and it depends on how many there are. Like, if it's just a small little development, like, that might be okay. But if you're buying in a massive project and there's project after project of similar homes around you, and one natural disaster, something happens, right? Like, or people start just overpaying in an area for some reason, or whatever's going on, that can hit the whole neighborhood like that so hard quickly. Funny enough, maybe could I tell you just a quick story? Actually, to his point on this, though, my wife and I, when we first got married, we got married really young. We met 2005, got married 5 months later. So 20 years married too. So we, thank you. we almost bought, like, down the road from our apartment, there was a new townhome development that just went up, brand new construction. And we were just in love with it. We're like, we should totally buy. And I was making okay money. I was in construction. We both had full-time jobs. Like, it was okay. Like, we were like, why don't we buy a house? That's the next step, right? Buy a house. So we were looking at a townhome, and it was really nice. Brand new construction, beautiful. We thankfully didn't get approved for the mortgage financing because I didn't understand how it worked. I asked somebody else about it, and they're like, oh yeah, terms look good. Terrible terms, by the way. Like, it was one of those option arms, pick a payment, whatever. So really good I didn't do it. But when we were looking at it a few years later, we drove through like 3-4 years later after that. So this is like 07, 08. They had only sold like 5 units in the whole development. And because they never even sold, now they were going for like less than what it was years before.
Right.
And it would have been a horrible, like, we would have been stuck. Horrible decision for us. We never would have gotten out of that thing. Or it might have been, a decade later before we got out. So in that instance, it was actually really bad had we bought in that development. So I get what this guy's saying in this video of sometimes it doesn't make sense in certain neighborhoods. Right. But a lot of times, more often than not, it still makes sense if you run the math. You got to look at the projections and the history. And the cool thing is you can go back in some of these algorithms, AI, like all the tech we have now, the data, you can go back and you can see the history of the valuations of properties and know, like, what's the trend been and where's it heading and, like, what's going on in the market around it and, like, how many lenders are lending in this area and which realtors did it. And, like, you can get all this data now. So it makes it a lot more solid of a decision. You're not just guessing your way through it.
Yeah. And he was saying in the South, and he specifically said Houston, but Houston hasn't been. Houston's been, I mean, Evan just dropped. I mean, it's pretty much been stable or just it hasn't. So I don't know what he's talking about. Because did he say what 320?
He said Texas, but he said that in Houston is one of those markets that's going to be booming. Actually, Houston always.
Okay, I thought he said that it was one of the ones that's the value is going down.
He said Texas when the value is going down. That could be anywhere in Texas. That could be El Paso.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I was gonna say I know Austin is booming.
Right. Yeah.
The
major cities are booming.
Yeah.
Right. But I want to add this to it as well. I think people get too emotionally attached. Unfortunately, most people don't go by the data. They go by the gut. And a lot of times the gut, especially not knowing, could lead you astray.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you need to get somebody that is data driven that could kind of counter your feelings. And especially with these new bills, we talk about this all the time. A lot of people fall in love with these new bills, and you're overpaying just because it's new. This is a new house. You're overpaying for the house. Oh, they give me $25,000 worth of incentives. Still not worth it. The materials that they're using, the plan, the neighborhood is not. You're going to be flat. For years, but a lot of people get emotional and they want these new houses, and it's huge. I don't know how it is in Minnesota, but in Texas is a huge thing because Houston is expanding so much. So there's a new subdivision that pops up like
it's more stable. It's more stable in Minnesota for sure. We're opposite ends of the top and bottom of the country here, but more stable here. But I mean, still a lot of construction happening. Even through the winter, construction still happens. We don't slow down because of some snow and some cold.
Right.
But yeah, it's. I was one of those people, right? You get emotionally attached to this new construction pretty house, and you're like, yeah, let's do this upgrade and this thing. But what most people don't realize is there's about a 20% markup at least on a lot of these properties, at least. And then all the stuff that goes in, like that they're doing for incentives that make it sound really nice. They're not actually giving you money; they're just working it in a different way, and it's a legal way that they can do it. Because honestly, funny enough, coming back to that NAR thing, when the housing recession hit, it's illegal for you and I, Brandon, to say if you don't use Barry, we're not going to work with you.
Mm-hmm.
And Barry, you can't legally say if you don't, or we're not going to give you this discount. Like I'm going to give you a discount, but only if you use Brandon. And Brandon, you can't say to Barry, I'm not going to use you, Barry, as a realtor unless you give me a discount. And title companies can't do it, and insurance companies can't do it. But guess who can?
Builders.
Builders still never had to go. They escaped that 08 thing all alone, independent, because they had better representation. So they got out of it, and they can still do it. But it's hidden in the weeds there. So again, new construction versus townhomes, condos, location of the market. There's so many things that go into this.
Right. And most people, like I said, they don't. Sadly, it's a sad fact, but most choose people not off the strength of their resume, but they off the strength of how they look, or she went to school with me, so let's go with her. And they might not know anything. They might be part-timers. They might, so again, when you're making one of the most powerful decisions, the biggest financial decision probably in your life, you might want to put the feelings to the side and make an educated educated decision, as opposed to.
Well, that's why you go and get somebody, because they are emotional.
Right.
Most
people are. We want it to be like that. But most people,
because if you think about it, technically they don't need a realtor to go get a house. So
you do. If you don't know what you're doing, it could come back to bite you.
Yeah,
I had a guy yesterday. He was was acquiring about a property. Have no clue. You have no clue what you're talking about. But he wants to do everything by himself. Okay. What's going to happen is you're gonna try to do it by yourself, and you're going to lose a lot of money because you don't have somebody that's done this several times guiding you. Right. So like, I could bring up a whole bunch of analogies, but plain and simple. Get somebody that can help you. That's going to bring the logic, and you could kind of merge the two. Think your emotions, and
you know what? Even if you're in the industry, you should still get some. What do they say about lawyers? You know, somebody's trying to defend themselves. Like, now you need to get a lawyer, man.
Just for fun, I wanted to ask ask AI just real quick. Where does moving rank in the top most stressful life events?
Probably
and it says moving consistently ranks as one of life's most stressful events, often placing at the very top, surpassing even divorce, a new job, having children, or all the other things that are combined there. So it is right there, like death, divorce, all new moving, right? That's a big emotional decision. That's a big one, right? Like, do you really want to just guess your way through this thing?
I wouldn't think it'd be number one, but okay.
It definitely is stressful because you don't forget I got this property in Cleveland like last year. So, and I was in my house in Katy for 10 years. It just everything is moving the dogs, and it's super duper stressful.
My wife and I moved 9 times in 10 years after not buying that construction property. We basically just left everything in storage and just kept moving and going out to the storage unit that where we had whenever we needed something, or the garage or whatever, right? Like, we just, until we finally got settled in our place and kind of made it home, it took a long time to get to that point. And man, it was stressful. It was so stressful. So to also want to qualify, depending on the study done, like, I don't want someone to walk away with like, oh, these guys said like moving's the number one thing. Like, I'm just saying, like, according to AI and certain studies, it's in the top 10 for sure. Depending on the study, some place it at number 1 actually. So in different surveys. So it's that stressful. Just highlighting the point.
Well, anything, don't forget, the man's house is his castle. Anything that interrupts the nest is going to be stressful. Even remodeling is stressful because you got other people that's in your home. You're interrupting your space.
Yep.
You know, so
unless you're one of those weird do-it-yourself people that I don't understand and I'll never relate to.
Even I imagine it would be stressful for the wife because you know,
I'm a mortgage professional, so for me, it's like, if there's a picture that needs to get hung, that's a great job for a contractor. Let's call someone on it, because I don't do that. That's not my.
Gotcha. Let's go ahead because we're right at the hour. I know you got to get out of here at the hour mark, so let's go ahead and run this next one here.
About being a rich guy.
It's your own family hitting on you for money. And I've done many mistakes in this, and I've found a path to success, and I'm going to give advice to everybody on this thing. They come to you and say, look, I want to borrow $200,000. I have an idea, and I think it's really going to work. I say, look, I'm going to give you the $200,000. I don't want to be paid back. It's a gift. But I never, ever want you ever to ask for money from me again. Ever. That's the covenant you're going to agree to right now.
I have one child, of a 14-year-old, and what to do with her and giving her money, because I never had money. I'm Irish Catholic kid from Boston. We didn't have any money. But because I didn't have that, I go the other direction with my daughter. And now I'm noticing some of the negative consequences of that.
You're entitling her, and that's a huge mistake. I learned this the hard way from my mother. When I graduated from college, my mother came to see me and said, I have good news and bad news. And I said, well, give me the bad news first. And she said, the dead bird under the nest never learns how to fly. And I said, what the hell does that mean? She said, it means no more checks. You're graduating. I'm done. I don't have to give you any more money. And I said, well, Mom, I don't have a job and I got to pay car payments. She said, I don't give a damn. Everybody knows a rich, screwed up kid. Everybody knows that. And it's because she believed they never launched it. They didn't have a reason to.
What's the worst part about being a rich guy?
It's
I kind of want to know what the next part was.
Well, that was it. It recycled. Yeah, that's again. Let me go ahead and give props or kudos to the. This is We the Fifth. This is the content creator, has about 12,000 followers. We the Fifth is a podcast, so I guess they're just coming out. But that's their content. If you want to check it out in its entirety. I'll go ahead and comment on it. Couple things on this. I kind of did the same thing to family members. I kind of invested in their businesses and said, hey, listen, once I do this, this is it. You know, I don't want to be paid back, but I invest in your business, and you know, the proceeds you keep to yourself. But hey, don't whenever if you wreck this business, this is on you. Don't ask me for anything else. And it's kind of worked out. You know, for the most part, you know, it's kind of now I have had some people try to come back like with the remember what the covenant was, you know. So I understand what Kevin O'Leary is saying. Also, I want to comment on this. This is where I want to take it because I've been guilty of this myself as well. By me not coming from a rich family, I did have the tendency to give my daughter whatever she wants. Because one of the things I did, I always, as a kid, I always wanted certain things, and like my mom or my grandmother or my grandfather, like, nah, not right now. That was like the worst feeling in the world to a kid. So I probably like, hey, when I have a daughter or I have a child, I'm not gonna have them whatever they want. If I got the means, I'm gonna get it. You know, and that's kind of what I did, but it did kind of come back to bite me. You know, so like I already know what the call is going to be. You know, so I almost answer the phone like, "How much you need?" You know, so I like what Kevin
I
O'Leary
did this today with a family member myself. It was hard.
I like what Kevin O'Leary's mom said: "The dead bird in the nest never learns how to fly."
That was a good line.
So you do coddle when you do coddle these kids, you're teaching them habits.
Agreed.
And, yeah, and you're teaching them that hey, whenever I get in a jam, I don't have to be responsible because I know Dad's gonna sell me. I know Dad's gonna cut a check. You know, so yeah, and I'm guilty of it myself. So it's tough because, like I said, you do want the best. You want, you know, hey, I work these hours to do that. However, it does hinder their progression. It does cause arrested development.
Yeah,
you know, I yield the floor.
Yeah, no, agreed. Because I did. I was the same way, and it was just me. And when I asked my mom for something, it wasn't no nah, we can't do that. It was just no.
Never.
It wasn't no well, we ain't now. It was no. Right. But you know, and so when you grow up, you grow up thinking, okay, once I get out there, I get some money, I'm gonna be able to get what I want, the stuff that I couldn't get when I was growing up. And then when you do have kids or family members, but I kind of live by if I can't afford to lose it, I'm not giving it to you. Because most people not gonna pay you back, or they gonna drag it out or try to make you feel bad about wanting your money back that you loaned them.
Right.
So we're not even going through that. So if I can't afford to lose it, I'm not giving it to you.
I don't have it. Credit. I lend money for a living, not the family.
Yeah, right.
That's a great tagline. I love that. Right. So. Yeah, for me, you know, growing up, I kind of had both sides of it. We were like, I didn't even know that we were on the edge of bankruptcy growing up. Like, I didn't even know that. Like, I'm the oldest of 5 boys, and it's funny. Like, great stories. Like, I remember going to the grocery store when I was like 8 or 9 years old, with my dad, and it was with my like 2 or 3 of my younger brothers all together. Like, for whatever reason, he was doing the grocery shopping. I never remember going to the grocery store with him because Mom did the grocery shopping. And we went to the checkout. We went to the cereal aisle. I'm like, can I get the cereal? And he's like, sure. And I'm like, you have a coupon, right? And he's like, no. And I'm like, well, then I can't get it, right? And he's like, no, you can get it. I'm like, no, you need a coupon to get the cereal. Like, that's the ticket to get the cereal is the coupon. I thought we were going to get arrested when we got to the checkout line. I'm like, we're going to go to prison. Like, this is bad. Like, I wanted to like call my mom. We were like, Dad's shopping and he's going to make us go to jail. And like, I was scared. Like, that's how like bad it was. Like, we were so focused on pinching pennies. And then my dad started his own company. When I was about 13 years old, he started his own company. And all of a sudden we went from broke to we had enough. Like, we weren't like rolling in it, but enough to get by, to have our basic needs met. And immediately my dad said, son, if you want to do if you want to like have the right mentality, I'm telling you, you need to be in business for yourself, and you need to make sure you're good with your money, and you're going to work for it. You're not going to let somebody else tell you. You go work for it. So I'm like, okay, so you're saying like you'll give me an allowance? He's like, yeah, we'll give you an allowance. I'm like, okay, so if I do chores, I get an allowance, but if I do more chores, do I get a higher allowance? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, perfect. And I just kept taking on all the chores, like literally everything growing up. And eventually, like when I was like 12, 13 years old, I'm making $20 a week. All of a sudden, like $80 a month as a kid, like with no expenses. That was amazing. I got my Lego set, my stereo. Like I was so happy. But it's funny, like I had both sides of it, and it's funny how you learn how to work hard, you build that work ethic. And I think that honestly, a lot of people, especially the younger generation just below us here, a lot of these kids, they haven't learned that work ethic yet. Like everything's just kind of been handed to them. Yes. Because our generation worked so hard to build it because we didn't have it. So we're like, we're going to build it and grow it. And we don't want you to go through these challenges. And then now there's this thought of like, well, I'm helping everyone, right? Like I'm helping you grow.
But you're hindering.
But you're also simultaneously, you are helping, but you're also hindering. And it's just weird, like watching this with family members and friends and like seeing this happen with our age and their kids. And like my nieces and nephews, and it's just a different mentality, right? So I like Mr. Wonderful, as he calls himself. Yeah. I love Shark Tank, by the way. It's a great show.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites.
Spot on. Like I was actually on that video. I was half expecting him to say like, well, what I tell them is I'm going to work out a payment plan with you, and we're
right. I want a royalty. Yeah.
I thought he was going to say that too, in perpetuity.
Yes, in perpetuity. I'm going to get a fraction of the proceeds here.
Right.
Royalties.
Mr. Wonderful's coming out with a movie too. He's in like this new movie that's coming out Christmas. I think it's called Marty Supreme or something like that.
Oh, really?
He has like a real role, like he's the villain in it. You know, so I might
villain character. Yeah,
I might want to check that out. All right, last clip for the night. Let's go ahead and run this. This one is kind of deep, so I got to throw one deep one. Let's check this out. This one is because this could get it could go either way. It could be a short conversation or it could be a deep conversation. So let's see our natural reaction to it.
Let's do it.
True. This is super alarming.
Over 11,000 English nouns dropped in usage by more than 80%. Between October 2023 and February 2024, the theory is whatever powers that be and AI, they are purposely making words disappear. It's functional vocabulary. And so some of the examples that they gave were terms connected to boundary setting, identity, and memory recall. And once a word falls below 2% of network visibility, it triggers the vanishing word protocol. Reclassify it, downrank it, replace it, not delete it, just less shown, less spoken, until one day you reach for a word like integrity and it's no longer in your mouth or your feet or in your memory. That's terrifying. Yeah, but what I found interesting was in the book 1984 by George Orwell, explored the concept of eliminating words through the invention of newspeak, the official language of the totalitarian regime. Orwell's big idea was by eliminating words, you eliminate concepts. No words for freedom, then freedom itself becomes a foreign, even unthinkable idea.
Oh my gosh, that's what I've been saying. The ability to be literate and articulate yourself opens the door for anything. You could do anything or be anyone.
Yeah.
Words are everything.
Yeah.
This is so scary.
What makes this particularly interesting is I had a little conversation with ChatGPT and I got it to admit that this is actually part of its programming is to eliminate these words from our vocabulary. What words specifically? I mean, I had it tell me words like man, woman, father, mother, sin, and even Jesus. Why? Let me know what you think in the comments. If this is true,
that's interesting.
I want to point out, none of us, other than you, Brandon, we have not seen these videos prior to this call, so we're watching it along with everybody here for the first time too.
Right. So I'll go ahead and react. Do I think they sensationalized it a little bit? Yes. However, is there something there? Possibly. If you ever seen the movie Idiocracy? In 2000, I think it was 7, where they started to communicate like emojis. and the text messaging.
It's,
You know,
it's where
so
that's the movie where the guy he ends up like into the future,
right,
and
right,
in the future everyone has become so stupid. He
right,
is now, as an average, even below average intelligence person, the smartest
right.
man on the planet.
Smartest man on the planet.
Yes.
So do I believe that something's there where words are being replaced and morphed and the usage falls below a certain thing, and what's happening, we're programmed to believe if you Google it and it's not there, it doesn't exist. So yes, I could see where they're going with that. And I do believe that words are concepts. Don't forget that they're not a conduit. So you have to, when you hear the word, you have to visualize it and you have to conceptualize it. So, and that forms thoughts and ideas. So if that's gone, that thought and idea in turn is gone. So yes, I could see where that. Now, specific words, I'm not sure about that. I'll stay away from that. But yes, I could believe it. And I wanted to say this, and this is why I put that in there, is because I think a lot of things that we are being taught, and I give you an example like cursive. They're not taught cursive anymore in schools. Yeah, so a lot of, we had vocabulary words. We had written comp was a class that we had to take. It was mandatory, and we had to write it in cursive. So that's how I learned how to write. And this is a good segue to my announcement. If you stay with us, I see we had an average of 3 to 7 people with us. If you stay with us, my big announcement is my second book is coming out in January. It's called Message to the Businessman.
Woo,
so
nice,
yeah, so and it wasn't AI, it's actually written.
Yeah, ChatGPT, write me a book.
Right. So it's called Message to the Businessman. Again, I have it's one of those books that I've been having for a while, and I dusted it off, revamped it, and kind of put a little bit of spin on it. It's almost done. I think, and it's easy to me because of the school I had. We were taught how to write, and I think this new generation is not taught how to write; they're taught how to type. And it's more typing on social media posts and comments and things like that, and not in composition form. A lot of people don't know how to put paragraphs together and words together, have it flow. And I think that is a part of our brain that's going to lie dormant and eventually become, you're going to get atrophy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I might
if you don't,
have to hit you up after this on how you're doing some of this stuff, because my wife she's written several books. One is totally done, so I want to pick your brain after. Don't let me forget.
Right. Yeah, no worries.
But yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, I think a lot of words that we're not using, learning how to express ourselves, we're it's different. My generation, you want it to be different. Now everybody uses the same words, Riz, and everybody wants to be exactly the same. So it's setting us up for idiocracy.
It's going back to that technology.
Right. So
I'll you on that before. I saw somebody that asked this before. I mean, this is like maybe 7-8 years ago, said something about, and going back to how we don't even have newspapers anymore, and just things like that. And think about the technology. When we start doing text messages, you can only put so many characters in there, so you can't write some long paragraph. Right. You gotta see it in the bam bam real quick, because you can't put all these messages on there
unless you want to pay extra.
Yeah, unless you want to pay extra.
Yeah.
Then they made it uncool if you do write something very descriptive. It's like, man, you wrote a novel. I'm not reading all that.
And they got gonna read it, yeah.
Right.
So, and then you got all these with the
emojis.
Emojis, and then like IKU. I had to go to Google and say, what does this mean?
Yeah, be careful with that, Barry, too. Like, what is this emoji? Be careful with some of those. Like,
right.
It will, and that's the thing, is like all the kids nowadays. I say kids, like I'm not that old, but I mean, like, the generation coming up under me, like in general, like there's so many words, like how many videos there are. In fact, I bet you could find some, or have maybe even talked about this before, Brandon, of like how many videos are about these new slang terms that only the newer generation really understands.
Right.
They don't understand some of what we're saying, but we don't understand what they're saying. Like we're actually having a communication gap with the next generation, which is sad to me. Like why this is happening. But I agree completely with what he said, and I do believe it is intentional. I think this is very intentional. The more they can, not to knock us, but the more people are here watching this kind of a thing, and they're not living lives and doing other things, it does change the thinking a little bit. You know, like people get stuck in a rut. They get stuck online, and they're not out thinking, learning, reading, doing things that would really just enhance their minds, their memories, and just be a better help to society, right? For all of us.
You know, he talked about 1984 with George Orwell, and I remember in high school I had to read Fahrenheit 451, and that was talking about burning books. That was a Fahrenheit that it was about burning books, and that was 40 years, well, 30-something years ago. I ain't gonna tell my age. 30-something years ago in high school, we were talking about burning books. I mean, so yeah.
I'm pretty sure we're all the same age here, by the way, too, aren't we?
Yeah, I mean, I get what they're saying as far as not using certain words and certain concepts disappearing. I think that's gonna, and I want to add this one more anecdotal nugget. By this is 2025, I kind of took off from real estate. Just just a little bit, and kind of part-time it, and I went trying to fulfill his dream of me owning a pet store and stuff like that. So I ran one for a friend of mine with the thoughts of owning it, right? When he backdoor, he wound up selling it from underneath me. But I hired this was my first experience with working with Gen Z in the workforce. And there is a huge communication barrier. A lot of stuff that I thought was like common knowledge is not common. And it's like, what? And like, yeah, it's time for you to get off the snide. Snide? What is that? I was like, Google it. Oh, okay.
Urban Dictionary.
A lot of things that we used to say that was common knowledge, they have no clue of what I'm talking about. And it's a common words. Like, so a lot of the words that they use are very, very basic. It's like they have a 60-word vocabulary that they rotate. And it's kind of scary.
My wife works in retail now, and she works, all the people she works with pretty much are like between 18 and 22 years old.
Right.
So pretty much like every day she comes home, she's like, I learned a new word today.
Right.
And I'm like, what'd you learn? And then she'll give me a word, and she'll be like, yep, never heard of that one before. No idea. She's like, yeah, I didn't either. So I asked, because she likes to ask her colleagues the questions, and then they'll be like, oh yeah, it means this. Like, don't say that word. And it's like, oh, good to know. Like, didn't know that word changed meaning, but apparently it did. Like whenever. So good.
This is the scary part. This is the part I wanted to make up as a point, and then let's see if y'all want to react to this, and then we could get up out of here. When I was coming up, when I was talking to older folks, we had the desire to go ahead and learn what they learned. And let me go ahead and stretch myself. Okay, I don't know what that means. Let me find out. I want to be included in the conversation.
Agreed.
The new gen is not like that. They're like, all right, what do you mean? You're not making sense. That's lame. They want you to come down to them. It's like, nah, you might want to enhance your vocabulary and be more well-rounded and learn these concepts and learn these things. They don't want to do that. They want you to, if it's not on their level, it's lame.
They don't want to grow.
They don't want to grow. It's like, I don't know what you're talking about, man. You might want to find out. I was embarrassed to say I didn't know what you're talking about when I was their age. Like, all right, I will find out. Like, So that's the difference.
That's how I feel too. If you're talking about anything that I'm like, I don't know what that is. I'm like, Brandon, like offline, like I want to learn what that is. Share it with me. I want like I have an automatic reaction to wanting to learn more and do that. But you're exactly right. It's like, no. Talk to me less.
Right.
Bring it down. It's too much.
Right.
And it's weird. It's absolutely strange. But
that's the part that can set us up for idiocracy. When it becomes a social norm, to like, hey, I don't want to learn. Why are you talking on? And they said that in the movie. Now you're talking like this again? You know what I'm saying?
At the same time, almost anybody watching this probably is younger, the same age or younger than us, a lot of them. So in the comments, I would encourage, please tell us if you're watching this, what some of these words that we need to learn are and how we can improve in this and do better with this. Because honestly, the next generation coming up are the new home buyers, as an example. Like in our industry, like they're the new home buyers. We do have to adapt and learn the language and their focus and their goals and their way of approaching. We have to learn that, or else we're the dinosaurs dying out, right? Like, so there is a balance here of, I do agree, like some of these kids need to get out of your comfort zone, go learn something for a second and have conversations. But we also need to find ways to keep simplifying it, making it clear, making it easier.
And as you say that, I start thinking, when I was young, things that I would say, I know my mom and dad were like, what are you talking about? And I think it kind of goes like that over generations. You know, when I was growing up in the 80s, my mom and dad, they grew up in they were born in the 40s. So they grew up, the 60s or whatever. So here I am in the 80s talking about something, and they like, what are you talking about? So I think it kind of goes like that. But like you said, Brandon, I still would go back to them and say, okay, and try to learn from them too.
Right. That's the difference. That's the difference. It's like they don't, it's come down to my level and make it understandable for me, which I get simplifying, but simplifying is dangerous as well. I think, and I want to blame, not to place blame, but I want to point to the internet, because everything's becoming compartmentalized, where I don't have to learn this. So there's, I'll make references like, such and such, such and such. What are you talking about? Well, I don't know. This is a pop culture reference. I never heard of that. You never heard of, you never heard of that. This is pop. But back then, when I grew up in the 90s, everybody had only one or two types of media, which is the newspaper or the TV. So everybody had common intelligence. I don't want to say intelligent, common things that they know. It's called pop culture. Now it's becoming some compartmentalized. Yeah, if I'm in the God, Pokemon, and this is what I'm into, and I don't know anything else.
Hey, don't knock Pokemon. Those are amazing times.
But what somebody told me years ago also is you need to be able to operate in different worlds. Right. You're gonna be around somebody that's you got to be able to be able to operate around the CEOs and be able to operate. If I'm in the hood, I got to be able to operate there, or
That's a good point, and that's my point, is that for my audience and the audience that we're trying to build, for those who want to be business owners or want to be entrepreneurs or want to be aspirational, that's the ticket. And you see how the landscape is shaping up, where everybody's becoming compartmentalized. I think the people that's going to win is the people that's going to be able to touch several different compartments and be able to relate and translate, and that way you could get more of an audience or a bigger market share, because you're able to touch these particular markets. So that's why I brought this point up.
I was trying to think of a way to phrase this. Thinking simple is a bad thing. If you're considered to be simple-minded, if you're a simple person, that's an insult. That's a negative. But on the other side, the art of teaching in a simple way, keeping things simple, is an art, right? So the onus is not on the viewer here necessarily. I think it's on us as the teachers, the educators, the licensed professionals, to teach more simply so that we can make it easier to relate. That's the art of teaching. Like that's just my thought on that point of there's a balance here. Like there's adaptability on both sides, but unfortunately, we don't control the world and the way it's going necessarily. We can adapt if we choose to, or we can choose not to. But teaching in a simple format, so keeping things simple, I think, is important.
Right.
It's sad though that you're right. This is becoming a lost art. As that last video again, words disappearing from vocabulary, changing meanings. People don't even know what you're saying anymore.
Right.
The ability to read and write basic things is getting
Right.
is being hindered. So it is sad, but I hope sincerely, like if we have good professionals that, which I think honestly, as we talked about in that first video earlier, go back and watch it if you're watching this. That very first video about how the media has changed things and AI has come in. Like if we go back to that first video, I'm getting my point now. Just remembering that the focus is on the teaching side. I'm blanking. What was the first video now? I had it in my head.
Video was Google acquiring Zillow.
Yes. So
Right.
how the industry is changing with acquisitions and changes in the real estate industry, the space, how they're giving open-ended access now to the real estate industry, all these things. Like this can be a good thing or it can be a bad thing. It depends on you and how you treat it and how you run with it in your market and how you teach it.
I think it's going to be what it is. I think, and that's part of the book. What the premise of the book is about, Message to the Businessman, is adapting to the new climate and being able to generate and monetize, generate commerce and monetize on this particular new climate, because I don't think it's turning back. AI is here to stay. Every generation recedes a little bit as far as, think about it. Back in the days, you know how Shakespeare was writing when he was writing all that stuff. You know how the founding fathers were when they were fighting the British. They were in their 20s. So imagine a 20-year-old now. So each generation changes a little bit. So now, as a businessman or a leader, you have to adapt to the current climate. You can't just, all right, I wish it was like that. It's not. So we have to, this is what's there. Let's look future forward. That's what we're talking about. If you look at the recurring theme of this show, let's look future forward. And this is the market that we are handed. And this is the market that we have. Let's make the best out of the market that we have. So, because we can wish all day, well, it used to be like this, but that doesn't equate to anything, so we have to.
Ties back into buying a house. Should you buy a house or not? Honestly, half the time pick your poison. Doesn't matter. Like whatever you think it fits your situation best. Like it's personal. It's not even about what we all think. It's about, what do you think? What do you want to do? Like we're here to coach and help, but make your decision, right? Like you got to do what's right for you and your family. It's definitely a very personal thing, and it's very hyper local to your area and your circumstances.
Right. So we're going to do the outros, and then we're going to get up out of here, man. Again,
love it.
If you need me, Brandon B. Dixon, NMLS 1541210, and I'm available anytime if you want to talk. So, David, you want to tell them where they can find you at?
I am not available anytime. Please don't call me at like 3 a.m. I love that you're like, yeah, 24 hours a day, call me. And I'm like, nope, at 3 a.m. I'm sleeping. But please go to my website, follow me, send me a request to connect. I look forward to talking to anybody here. So thank you for having me on the show, Brandon and Barry. It was a pleasure meeting you as well for the first time actually tonight.
It's good meeting you too.
Talking with you too.
Barry, where can they find you real quickly, wrapping up before we wrap?
You go to homesbybarryb.com, or you can Google pound Homes by Barry B. I'm on all platforms. Phone number, text me, send me a message on social media, and let's got a new year coming, a new season. Let's go.
Right, and let's get prepared. We're going to start vamping up the show a little bit. I invited some guests, some people are inquired, so we want to have a super panel, 5 to 7 people every time, and we're going to vamp up, and we're going to start putting a little bit of effort into the show next year. So, try to get it a little bit, because I'm looking at the landscape. I mean, we have some nice content, man. The content is nice. So what I want to hear stuff that I could chew on that's entertaining yet educational. That's what I like. So
that's the way to do it,
man. With that being said, we're going to see you next week, same time. All right. See you. Peace.
Thank you guys. Take care.